Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live from the Tower, your weekly Destiny show. We've got a bit of a late edition of the episode this week. I know we took last week off, so there's not too much going on as far as I'm aware. I am going to pull up This Week in Destiny just to be on the safe side. Here we go. 222. Just going to double check my notes. PVT. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. So, here's the long and short of everything that's kind of happened over the last 2 weeks. One, crews from the clan Elysium, which have been the world's first holders, has been banned for a program on his computer that Bungie classifies as a cheat tool. He uses it supposedly for other games. I say supposedly because I don't know him personally. I don't know what he uses it for. That's just what he claims to the rest of us. So whether or not you think he should be banned, that's kind of your own, that's on you. You do you, boo-boo. Okay? A couple of things in TWAB. We did get a weapons tuning preview last week. So that was the TWAB of February 16th. There was a whole mess of stuff. I'm not going to go into it. It was a lot of stuff, if I'm being honest. Too much for me to just word vomit to you. So feel free to go read the TWAB. There's a lot of stuff coming. So now on to this week's TWAB, where there's two things of note. One of them was a update from the PvP strike team. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw my cat bolt across the room. She's playing with a toy. And if you're on Spotify, you might hear some rustling in the background. That's not you. That's my cat. She's having a grand old time. So we got an update from the PvP strike team. They're tweaking some spawn rates. They're tweaking some game modes. Again, it's just a lot of stuff to read. I'm not really going to regurgitate it for you, mainly because this podcast would be 45 minutes to an hour. And listen, we all know that we don't want to be listening to a 45 minutes to an hour podcast. I mean, I struggle to listen to a 30-minute video. And then there's days I watch an 8-hour Fallout New Vegas retrospective, but that's neither here nor there. So one of the things they talked about is they're doing some kind of spawn swapping and dealing with some spawn traps on certain matches. They're also going to be tuning the initial spawns, heavy ammo crates, tiebreaker zone locations for all the maps. And they've come out and kind of, said, listen, we know not all the maps are great for all the game modes. We're gonna kind of work on that. We also have 3 new maps coming sometime I don't know if it's coming for Final Shape or if it's coming in the next couple months or so. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right here on my TWAB. All I had to do was look at my computer screen. In May, we are getting 3 maps added to the Crucible. We're getting Eventide Labs on Europa, which I think would be really cool, because if I'm being 100% honest, I think Europa Europa is no, has is right. Europa has the most wasted potential when it comes to a patrol zone. And the reason I'm saying that is there's so much on Europa that we've kind of yet to explore. I mean, we crashed an orbital station into the zone. Never explore it. Don't do anything with it. Just leave it there. There's a Veil statue of the darkness chilling in the Deep Stone Crypt. Don't go back there. We barely explored the crypt in the raid. If you really think about it, after the first encounter, we go right up to the orbital station, and we're on the orbital station until the end when we crash back down. I'm really surprised Bungie has not done a dungeon set on Europa. There's a lot of stuff tied. Maybe we're gonna get that in a future expansion, because we know one of the last things Clovis Bray said in one of the lore tabs for season of the Seraph is they know, which, he's not dead. I mean, Rasputin's gone, but Clovis kind of kicked off to Europa, hunkered down, set up all his defenses, and he's holding out. So I really do hope we go back and explore Europa more in depth, dive back into the crypt. In my opinion, it's one of the most mysterious zones or locations of Destiny, just in terms of the lore. That goes up there with like the Distributary, the planet the Drifter visited. I mean, some of the planets in the solar system we haven't even touched on yet. Deepstone Crypt, to me, it's always something we've seen over and over again. The Exo Dream, fighting all your friends and family, making it to the crypt. Some make it, some never make it. What's inside? We found, Clarity Control, right? We found the statue, the Whispering Darkness, and then that's it. Maybe episode 1 Echoes will kind of play around with Neomuna and Europa a little bit more. And the reason why I say Echoes is because we are all led to believe Echoes is going to be focused on the Vex. I think episode 2 is Revenant. That's going to be kind of focused on the Scorn from what we're theorizing. And then episode 3, Heresy or Heretic, is going to kind of revolve around the Hive. Whether or not, I know Bungie's like, these are self-contained stories, but whether or not they're kind of setting up the next saga with that is yet to be seen, and we'll cover that in June, in July, in August when the final shape is out, when we get episode 1. But I really do think Bungie could do so much more with Europa. Now that that's over, let's get back to the other maps. We have Cirrus Plaza on Neomuna. Really would love to see a more war-torn plaza. I mean, again, they didn't do much with Neomuna if we're really talking and thinking about it. And then we're getting Dissonance, which is a terraformed pyramid ship. I think I'm trying to think back to the intro cutscene to Lightfall when the Traveler shoots his, I'm firing my laser, and he hits Nezarek's ship. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch it. I think there were 2 ships it hit, or maybe, multiple, whatever. So that'll be interesting. One of the most interesting parts of the Root of Nightmares ship is kind of when you get towards the middle section of the raid and you're jumping across pyramid tech, and then you see the vines of the silver wings, or the tree. Yeah, you see the vines of the silver wings kind of sprouting into the tree of silver wings, which that would be cool. They're multiplayer maps. Hopefully they're good. They do, I keep saying a lot. My cat is going nuts. So anyway, they do say in the TWAB, for example, Europa and Neomuna have exciting palettes that our PvP-focused players rarely get to experience, which is true. In May, Sorry, I dropped my hard drive. In May, they just said we are going to release the new maps. They have been specifically, so these maps are all going to be available in Control, and they have also been specifically built with a focus on 3v3 game modes in mind, including Dominion, Clash, Survival, and their newest mode, Collision. There goes my cat. Get her out of the way. Another PvP update is they've increased end of match rewards, so this is already live in the game. They're including more Glimmer, higher chances for enhancement cores, and Crucible engrams, and they've created double rewards boosters for PvP. I almost said PSP. I got some Sony stuff on the brain, and we'll get to Sony, don't worry. And in competitive, it's already live. They've added weapon focusing, and they've added a second tier of competitive weekly challenges that awards Ascendant alloys. Now, PvP players rejoice. You are getting end game rewards that are outside of trials. I'm recording this relatively late in the evening, so please excuse my slip-ups here and there, but you are getting end game rewards, and I'm not just talking Trials of Osiris gear. No, I'm talking about Artifice armor in Crucible. So if you don't like doing dungeons, or you can never have a group to do dungeons, or you don't want to use LFG because you don't have a mic and you only play PvP and you're trying to keep PvP alive because you remember the good old days in Destiny 1 when everyone played Iron Banner and it was fun. I think I'm a little biased here, which I need to get back into PvP. Anyway, you will get a chance at Artifice armor from competitive Crucible matches. So this is what we're going to get. They're all year 1 pieces. The Hunter is going to get all the Sword Flight armor with the Binary Phoenix Cloak. Titans are going to get the Phoenix Strife Type 0 armor with the Binary Phoenix Mark, and Warlocks are going to get the Anka Seeker 4 armor with the Binary Phoenix Bond. So they said they want to keep Dungeon Artifice armor. Artifice. What is wrong with me tonight? Dungeon Artifice armor drops to the dungeons they're associated with. So they don't want to bring, the Hake drops into Crucible. They don't want to bring Spire gear into Crucible. And, I understand that because it takes away from the players who worked so hard to grind for it in those specific activities. But the inclusion of Artifice armor as a reward aligns with our goal of allowing PvP-focused players to have an endgame track that rivals PvE rewards. So, that's fun. That's great. We love to see it. Maybe we can get some Gambit stuff in there. Like, maybe, just hear me out, Bungie. You bring back the Joker's Wild armor sets, the Season of the Drifters armor sets, and not just at Xur. Maybe you bring them back to Gambit. And you, I don't know, put their perks back into effect. Tune them up a little bit. We need a Gambit strike team. Everyone in the comments, I can already see it now. Gambit's dead. Gambit was fun for 2 weeks. Just get rid of it. No. Gambit was fun for a lot of different periods of time. The problem is they tried to fine-tune it so much, they took the fun out of it. My favorite period of Gambit has and will always be when it launched in Forsaken, and the meta was essentially, I know what you're going to say about the guns, Sleeper, Queen Breaker, oh, it's all anybody uses. Yeah, well, you don't remember when everybody used Eyes of Tomorrow and Xenophage? Just saying, buddy. And now it's just Gallahorn and Linears. Anyway, but Forsaken era Gambit to me was my favorite period of Gambit. The 5 motes bank. Just go. Just start bank it, bank, and just ping pong. It was so fun. The current iteration of Gambit can be fun. It depends how your team performs. Gambit is one of those modes. It's kind of like Helldivers. You need a group. When you have a group and you can communicate, it's really fun. When you don't have a group, it's very hit or miss. But that's what I think we need. Liven up Gambit, bring all those armor types back, even put them on, you could put them on a focusing track, right? So you have your Gambit engrams. When you get enough Gambit engrams, you can focus into the Sentry, the Infiltrator, this, that, and you can get the set you want. And when you have the full set, you get a nice, sick glow. Players who like Gambit have something to chase and to work towards on top of PvP or PvE, right? And 2, all the people that missed out on that armor, I know you love your FOMO, Bungie, but hear me out. All the people that missed out on those Gambit armors, they have a chance to get them. And they're like, I don't play Gambit, but I really like the way this looks. Well, let me go to Ada. Let me go pick up some Threader bounties. And let me go play more Destiny to get more materials to transmog my armor. You want people to keep playing your game, Bungie. This is how you do it. Once seasonal content grows stale, a lot of people fall off the game. It's just the way it is. When you have more things to chase, more avenues to chase things, people will play. Honestly, it's why people still want skeleton keys, strike-specific loot. It's why people still crave those things. One of the best parts about Taken King and Rise of Iron is like, all right, well, what are we going to do while we're waiting for the next thing, right? Well, dude, it's Sepix Prime this week's the Nightfall. Let's go farm it. Well, why? Well, I got my skeleton keys. I got a 3 a coin from Xur. I want to try, what was the sniper? Until Dawn, I think was the sniper. The really cool, unique sniper. People were farming Imago Loop, Grasp of Malik. There were things people wanted to chase. The was it a Titan helmet that made you look like Malik? All kinds of cool stuff. Stuff like that's missing from Destiny. And that's what people want. So put that in, you don't have to make these great, huge, sweeping changes. Let people earn old shaders, old emblems, put some ships, put some old cosmetics, because I know you love the microtransaction store. I know you want to line your fat pockets. I shouldn't say fat. You guys are down 45% of your projected sales, which, if that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. All right? Somebody get Pete on the phone, right? Get Pete and go, listen, buddy, you want players to play, right? Give them something to play for. People are getting tired of chasing season passes. Coil's fun, cool. Season of the Wish stuff, kind of fun, cool, right? But your hardcore players already ripped through all that content, and they have nothing to chase. Collectors may have some things to chase, but not much, because I guarantee the real try-hard collectors have been playing since the beginning. But you want people to come in, right? You want to keep players in. So you have people who started Forsaken, Shadowkeep, people who started in Witch Queen, and you see all this stuff and like, wow, that's really cool. How do I get that? And somebody goes, well, you can't get it anymore. Certain things that's perfectly okay for. Prestige should be a thing in these kinds of games. It's one of the things about, D1. I've been playing D1 recently. You can't get certain things in D1 anymore. You just can't. Right? So certain things should have a little bit of a prestige, Trials of the 9 stuff, you keep it in Trials, That was like, you had to be there to get that. Other things, emblems, shaders, and I'm not even saying like specific strike emblems. No, like all the Vanguard emblems. Vanguard shaders from over the years. Put them in end of match rewards. Packages rewards, stuff like that. Throw in some of the stuff from Eververse that nobody's buying, that you're not making money on, and you have the data. You can see this. Because I don't think people are like, oh man, you see that armor set from like D2 Vanilla? That looks really nice. Yeah, but it costs like $10. Why would I pay $10 for it? Especially when they talk to their friends who've played since Vanilla and was like, oh yeah, we used to be able to like earn that in game, like with bright packages and stuff and bright dust. Why can't I do it now? Bungie doesn't want you to. They want you to spend more money. But if I had a way to earn it, I'd play more to earn it. Yeah, no, I know. They want you to, money please. I don't understand Bungie. I really don't. Anyway, that's my rant. They're doing a bunch of trial stuff, right? They're updating game modes. It's all on the TWAB. Matchmaking, go read it. It's too much. Prophecy update. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to give you kind of the thing, the brave, the big picture. Swift Verdict, the Long Walk, and the Last Breath are all being removed from the loot pool. So that's the sidearm, sniper rifle, and auto rifle. All of the weapons will be getting a new origin trait that increases their range and handling for the top half of the magazines, and for the bottom half, they deal increased damage. So it's kind of like a win-win, which I actually really like that. The weapons that will be getting new perk pools and new damage types are the Prosecutor auto rifle, the Adjudicator submachine gun, and the Relentless pulse rifle. Also, those 3 weapons are getting added into the loot pool. The current weapons that are getting updated are the Judgment hand cannon, the Darkest Before, and the Sudden Death. And the encounter drops will now be for the Phalanx. It'll be the Pulse and the Auto. For the Cube, it'll be the Shotgun and the Submachine Gun. And for the Cal Echo at the Emissary chest, it'll be the Hand Cannon and the Darkest Before Pulse Rifle. So there'll be 2 Pulse Rifles. So that'll be fun. Other than that, that's all that was in the TWAB. Next week, they're going to talk about Guardian games, so we'll go over that. I don't expect much from Guardian games. I haven't for a while. I was excited to do Moments of Triumph, and then I logged in when Moments of Triumph dropped, and I got all the stuff for my t-shirt and the ghost shell and maybe the sparrow. I think I'm going to keep trying to farm the sparrow. Sparrow looks neat. But so, I haven't really been trying too hard. But I said at the beginning of this episode, or early on, that we would get to Sony. Because, Sony's not too happy. So, during their earnings report, I forget the gentleman's name. I will quickly search this up. Sony, where are we? Here we go. Sony unhappy with Bungie. Haha, here we go. PlayStation's chairman, Hiroki Totoki, I apologize if I butcher that name, it is not my native tongue. He praised the devs at Bungie that are working on Destiny. He said they've got a great creativity, they're excited to work, loves to see it, fantastic. Then he went, those guys in the chairs, the board, the execs, they need to be more accountable on missing their timelines and with the way they handle their cash. Now, if you're new to Destiny and you're just following news about Bungie as you're learning about the game, this is something that has been said about Bungie since Microsoft. Bungie has been classified as having a high burn rate, meaning they cannot monitor their cash flow. They just spend. And when you look at the past, like the past 10 years, see, even my cat didn't like that. When you look at the past 10 years, I mean, the writing's on the wall. They restarted Destiny production halfway through for the first game, and they restarted Destiny 2 halfway through for the first game. And then the rumors around Lightfall are that it was all going to be the final shape, and then here come the execs. Oh, there's too much going on. We need to split this into two. Really? It's the finale to your 10-year game franchise. There's too much going on. You sure about that? You sure you just didn't want to try and get another expansion out of us? I don't know. Listen, I'm just saying. I don't have any inside information. I don't have any contacts, right? This is stuff that's kind of coming out, becoming public knowledge, right? These are rumors that other people are kind of hearing, and they're all kind of saying the same thing. I mean, it's not sustainable, and I said this a couple episodes ago. When Sony departed from Activision, everyone, including me, was like, yeah, no more Activision. No more Activision. And since they've left Activision, the microtransactions have gotten worse. That's right off the bat. And the quality outside of Witch Queen and a couple seasons has not been steady. We got Forsaken, right? And I know Luke Smith had come out and said, don't expect another expansion like Forsaken. Well, Final Shape kind of needs to be that. And not because, Destiny's dead. Like, listen, if Destiny does Final Shape, 3 episodes, rides off into the sunset, it was a fun ride. I loved it. I'll have a bunch of memorabilia. I'm sure the servers will be up for years to come, right? Will it suck? Yeah. But I said it a couple episodes ago. We all wanted to point the finger at Activision. But now we can't. I mean, I'm sure there's some things you could say that was Activision. Like, I know people have said the Activision model wasn't sustainable. Expansion every year. We got that anyway. I mean, really nothing has changed. We got an expansion every year. And what happened? This year they've come out and said, yeah, Doing seasons makes things a little too predictable. So, like, if it was really unsustainable, then why did Bungie keep doing it? You know, why weren't there bigger gaps between expansions? You know, you drop Shadowkeep. You don't drop Beyond Light right then and there. And I'm not talking about delays. I'm talking about, like, sizable gaps. Right? You drop Shadowkeep. About a year and a half goes by. Bam, Beyond Light. No, it was boom, boom, boom. Year after year after year after year. Expansion, 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 expansion. Now listen, I'm not complaining. Been playing the game. Loving it. I've been giving them my money. But if everyone wanted to turn around and go, well, Activision's, you know, the business model was really unsustainable for Destiny. Well, why do they keep doing it? In fact, Activision gave them more studios to do it. Forsaken was made by like 3 studios. Bungie, High Moon, and it was either Beanox or Ravensoft. I don't remember which one. Don't quote me on that. So now, Microsoft said the same thing. They were like, Bungie has a really high burn rate. And, you know, they're not really good with their time management. Now you have a third publisher who just spent, you know, however much money to buy them, come out and say, listen, the devs are doing great work. They're really creative. They're really excited. We'd love to see it. Something's got to change up top. And everyone wants to come out and go, oh man, if Sony takes over Bungie, like that's it, the Destiny's over. It's like, we don't know that. For all we know, the executives in Bungie are the problem. For all we know, Sony coming in going, all right, listen, we're not going to dissolve the board completely, but we're going to split the board and, you know, we're going to kind of have the final say business-wise. Creatively, you have the say. Business-wise, we have the say. For all we know, that could be fine. We're not going to know. So, when you see stuff like this, and then you remember, oh, Bungie's profits have been down 45%. And then Sony comes along and says, yeah, you know, they're not really good at handling their money, and they need to take accountability for their timelines. Can anyone blame him? He bought this company for a certain amount of money, right? Sony came in and bought this company for X amount of money, and they were like, yeah, we're going to have Final Shape out in February. Which, by the way, Final Shape should have come out next week. We have to wait another 3-4 months until June. And everyone in Bungie says, you know, Final Shape's really good. You know, we're going to wait and see. I'm going to play it. I have not pre-ordered it yet. Bungie will not get my money until the night before it launches. And the reason why is so I could pre-download it on my console. That's the only reason why. I don't need to pre-order it now. Clearly, the exotic weapon that launched in the pre-order is nowhere near as, busted as Quicksilver Storm was with Lightfall. The collector's edition at first glance was cool, and then when I thought about it and I talked to some clanmates, and I was like, yeah, it's, you know, the tower replica is nice, but we know all the emblems are going to be online within a 24-hour period anyway, because people just post the codes. So the only other thing you get out of the collector's edition is all the physical merch and the soundtrack. So I could always just pick that up on eBay, you know, down the road. In fact, I was looking at it. I could still get Shadowkeep collector's editions sealed for about the same price as I would have paid to get it from Bungie. So who knows? You know, hopefully they get their stuff together. Hopefully the Final Shape's really good. We've got a long way to go. I'm sure there's going to be more news to talk about. There's going to be more things that are going to come out, and we're going to go from there. But until then, I'm going to be chipping away at my own little to-do list in Bungie, or not Bungie, in Destiny 2. I'm still replaying Destiny 1. I hit level 40 today. I'm in the middle of I'm in the beginning of the Taken King quest line. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they figure it out. Hopefully they take notes from Helldivers and Arrowhead. Other than that, the best thing we can do is if you're burnt out from Destiny, but you know you're going to play the final shape, go play something else. Everyone says it 1,000 times, but it's always true. If you're not burnt out and you're excited for final shape and you know that the more you play, the more you'll get excited, you keep playing the game, keep having fun. You do you, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But whatever you do, be sure to tune in next week because we're going to have another show for you. Until then, fly safe, Guardians.